watch?
That is a ridiculous question, and I
Yes or no?
No.
I will take that as a yes.
I am not going to respond to that kind of personal attack, which is not a question.
At the far left, you have Ilhan Omar, someone who's built a career trying to create viral moments by shaming anyone who doesn't agree with her policies. And on the right, you have Abrams, a veteran public servant who's served under multiple presidents, speaks plainly, and doesn't mince words. From the very start, it's obvious this isn't a real line of questioning. This is a setup. Omar isn't searching for facts. She's chasing a clip. Abrams isn't playing along, and that's the problem. What we're watching is political theater, an attempt to trap, embarrass, and silence, not to govern. This is what's broken in Washington today. It's not about truth or policy anymore. It's about performance and power. We'll watch the full exchange and then break down why this kind of grandstanding is reckless, unprofessional, and dangerous for the country.
Ms. Omar.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for your testimonies. Mr. Adams, in 1991, you pleaded guilty to 2 counts of withholding information from Congress regarding your involvement in the Iran-Contra affair, for which you were later pardoned by President George H.W. Bush. I fail to understand why members of this committee or the American people should find any testimony that you give today to be truthful.
If I can respond to that.
It wasn't a question.
That
was not a question. That was I reserve the right to my time.
It is not right.
That was not a question.
Committee can attack
on February 8th,
who is not permitted to reply.
That was not a question. Thank you for your participation. On February 8th, 1982, you testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about U.S. policy in El Salvador. In that hearing, you dismissed as communist propaganda report about the massacre of El Mozote, in which more than 800 civilians, including children as young as 2 years old, were brutally murdered by U.S.-trained troops. During that massacre, some of those troops bragged about raping a 12-year-old girl before they killed them. Girls before they killed them. You later said that the U.S. policy in El Salvador was a fabulous achievement. Yes or no, do you still think so?
From the day that President Duarte was elected in a free election to this day, El Salvador has been a democracy. That's a fabulous achievement.
Yes or no, do you think that massacre was a fabulous achievement that happened under our watch?
That is a ridiculous question, and I
yes or no?
No.
I will take that as a yes.
I am not going to respond to that kind of personal attack, which is not a question.
Yes or no, would you support an armed faction within Venezuela that engages in war crimes, crimes against humanity or genocide, if you believe they were serving U.S. interest, as you did in Guatemala, El Salvador, and Nicaragua?
I am not going to respond to that question. I'm sorry. I don't think this entire line of questioning is meant to be real questions, and so I will not reply.
Whether under your watch, a genocide will take place, and you will look the other way because American interests were being upheld, is a fair question, because the American people want to know that anytime we engage a country, that we think about what our actions could be and how we believe our values are being furthered. That is my question. Will you make sure that human rights are not violated and that we uphold international and human rights
I suppose there is a question in there, and the answer is that the entire thrust of American policy in Venezuela is to support the Venezuelan people's effort to restore democracy to their country. That's our policy.
I don't think anybody disputes that. The question I had for you is that does the interest of the United States include protecting human rights and include protecting people against genocide?
That is always the position of the United States.
Thank you. I yield back my time.
Let's be honest about what happened here. That wasn't a real hearing. It was a staged political attack. Elliot Abrams showed up with decades of experience in foreign policy, having served under multiple presidents in some of the toughest situations imaginable. Is his record controversial? Sure, that's what happens when you spend 40 years dealing with wars, dictators, and national security. But Omar didn't bring up his past to understand it or debate it. She brought it up to poison the room before he could even speak. This wasn't about truth. It was about discrediting the man so nothing he said would count. Omar demanded yes or no answers to complicated events from decades ago. That's not accountability. That's manipulation. It's how you force a misleading soundbite. Asking whether a massacre was a fabulous achievement isn't serious. It's a bad faith smear designed to paint Abrams as evil no matter what he says. Abrams was right to call it out. The achievement he referenced was the survival of democracy in El Salvador, a fact Omar ignores because it doesn't fit her narrative. And this is the real issue. This behavior isn't new. Ilhan Omar was welcomed into this country as a refugee, educated here, elected to Congress, the American dream in full form. Yet she uses that platform to attack American officials, undermine U.S. policy, and routinely show more sympathy for America's adversaries than America itself. This hearing exposed it perfectly. She treated Congress like a stage for activism instead of a place for serious governance. Abrams came to discuss real threats and real policy, and was met with arrogance, disrespect, and political theater. This wasn't just embarrassing. It was reckless. And the American people deserve representatives who understand the weight of their office. Ilhan Omar has proven, time and time again, that she doesn't.